Please do not send any hate or messages of any kind to anyone mentioned or depicted in this video, on behalf of me or on behalf of anyone else, including yourself. The purpose of this video is to give my commentary and opinion on matters of public concern and/or interest.
Hey guys, what's good, Truth Warriors? Welcome back to Psyched Out Slick. So, before I begin on the topic, I just want to announce of why I've been gone for so long. I think it's been like 3 months. I am pregnant. The IVF was successful with our first transfer, and I've just been trying to get through the first trimester. You know, it's a little rough, low energy, feeling nauseous, but I'm out of the first trimester and I'm feeling much better. I have more energy and I'm not as anxious because I'm out of the woods. So I just feel so thankful and blessed. And, thank you guys for all the support. It's been a long journey and I finally feel like I have my miracle baby. So now we're going to jump into something really deep. So get ready. Today we're ripping the veil off Pizzagate, the explosive theory that elite human trafficking rings could be real, run by politicians, celebrities, and even spies. Creepy emails, satanic vibes, whistleblower silence, and blackmail ops. It's a wild ride, and we're going all in. Could Pizzagate be a glimpse into a dark reality? And are intelligence agencies pulling the strings? Stick with me as we unpack this, and trust your own brain. Do the critical thinking, not just listening to the media. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's expose the shadowy world of human trafficking rings. Just a disclaimer, this is all just information that I'm presenting from the internet. And some of it's just my opinion. This isn't fact. A lot of it is alleged, and I will be using the word allegedly a lot and explaining what is my opinion. And not all of this is based in fact. There's going to be some court cases that we bring up that have been proven. But the things that aren't proven, I just want you to keep an open mind that I don't have direct evidence. It's all circumstantial, and we aren't going to condemn anyone or make anyone feel guilty. I just want you guys to see the information, come up with conclusions on your own, and let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, so we're gonna do like a Pizzagate 101, just for the people that maybe don't really know what it is. So Pizzagate blew up in 2016, alleging a child sex trafficking ring was tied to heavyweights like Hillary Clinton and John Podesta, allegedly. And that all of this trafficking was taking place at this place called Comet Ping Pong, a DC pizzeria. Now, mainstream media like CNN and the Washington Post called it fake, and they used this 2016 gunman who stormed the restaurant as a way of pointing out that it was fake, there was no basement, and this is just like a crazy conspiracy theory that people are like thinking that is true, and it's causing like people to act radically. So basically, I think that because of the gunman story, it made this a dangerous topic to talk about now. And in my opinion, I find it a great way to silence people. But that's just my opinion, and it very well could all be fake. So, but I'm gonna ask the question because there's weird emails, disturbing art, real trafficking busts like Epstein's, plus whistleblowers dropping like flies. I gotta ask, what if Pizzagate's onto something huge? And we're gonna dive in deep and let me know what you think. So we're gonna break it down. So in 2016, WikiLeaks dropped John Podesta's emails, who is Hillary Clinton's campaign chair for the 2016 election. And internet sleuths went wild with these emails. They flagged bizarre phrases like pizza, hot dogs, pasta, and cheese, claiming those words are code for child trafficking or abuse. And they tied this abuse to fundraisers at Comet Ping Pong, allegedly. And this Comet Ping Pong restaurant is owned by James Alefantis, who is a DC insider with ties to elites. So The media and the DC police dismissed all of this as circumstantial evidence, saying no secret basements or codes exist. But let's be clear, it does appear that there has never been any real investigation or evidence to debunk Pizzagate either. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I just don't see them providing any legit evidence that this is fake. So I think that's what keeps the conspiracy theories going. But let's not just buy what the media is selling. The media went so far to simplify the story that everything was taking place at this pizzeria. But what if it was just the tip of the iceberg and all these players are still involved, but in something more sinister and something more organized? And it's not something that's just taking place at this little pizzeria in DC. Okay?
And first of all, they frame it in the articles about Pizzagate. They say Hillary Clinton was the mastermind of a global sex trafficking ring, all headquartered in this pizza shop, which is not what anyone ever claimed.
Right. So as soon as you can discredit that, you discredit the whole thing.
Classic frame job, which Nancy Pelosi explains very well, where you make a false claim and you say that's what they're saying, and then you discredit the false claim.
So we're going to keep an open mind as we explore all the things that are on the internet. And again, these are things that I've just seen. I don't know what's real and what's fake. I'm going to let you discern that with your own mind, and I'm just going to show you what's being presented. Interesting side note. So Alephantus is a common Greek name, but oddly enough, the name James Alephantus reads very much like in French, James l'enfance, which means I like children. And I don't speak French, so please excuse my pronunciation. I did the best I could. But yes, so just a little weird, right? It makes you think, could this be an alias? And if you watch Candace O's podcast, which shout out to her, I love her, then maybe you've learned that many people that have connections with PDF files tend to change their names often. So there's a chance that this could be part of that trend. There's also known pedophile symbols allegedly used as the pizzeria's logos, like Besta Pizza. This place is 2 doors down the street from Comic Ping Pong, and after the scandal broke, they happened to change their logo. Convenient, and a sign of guilt, if you ask me. Again, that's my opinion. I also have to point out that Comic Ping Pong has had bands come into play at this kid-friendly restaurant by the names of Heavy Breathing and Smeck Stains, if you get what I'm saying. And these bands have been known to use PDF file symbols in their YouTube videos. You know, interesting band to have play at your local kid-friendly establishment. Okay, now you guys gotta check out these emails because, like, what the heck? Like, what could these emails possibly mean with, like, these weird words just inserted in these emails? What the hell? I really just want to get your guys' opinion. Please drop a comment below what you think these emails mean and what they're actually trying to say. So now let's check out these emails from the Podesta leaks. One from September 2015 that says, quote, "Do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than on pasta?" End quote. Huh? What could that possibly mean? That does not make sense as a sentence. And then there's another. Quote, "The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related." Again, what? What could that possibly mean? Then there's this email from Tamara Lozado. Quote, "We plan to eat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be the Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Lozado." In parentheses, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have further entertainment, and they will be in the pool for sure. End quote. Kids in the pool for entertainment. What kind of entertainment would grown adults want from children? That's just a weird email. There's also some weird alleged evidence that Tamara Lozado has a website where she advertises these same children with the same names and ages, along with another link for versions of a photo she posted of a baby that says it is available for premium subscribers. So meaning you have to pay. And at the end of that sentence, there's a wiki face. And the title of the baby's photo is named something very odd that I'm not going to mention, but it's very odd. And so that just makes you think, what are these children being used for when it comes to entertainment? It's sick, if you ask me. But again, this might just be coming across wrong. I might be interpreting it wrong. So just the way it reads sounds weird to me, but who knows what the context is. I'll give you that. So again, this is where I want you to use your critical thinking skills. And then there's this email about a White House party. Quote, Obama spent $65,000 flying in pizza and hot dogs from Chicago. Are you kidding? Flying in hot dogs? Do they not have local hot dogs that are like $1? Like, why $65,000 worth of hot dogs? It's just freaking odd. But you see, by using the code words, they're able to fly under the radar. These are real emails, guys, and they're weird as hell. And I just want you to remember what's happening right now with this Russiagate hoax that's come out. The Russiagate hoax was used to kind of cover up people's interest in these emails and the Anthony Weiner laptop that we're going to get to soon. So Ian Carroll on the Carroll podcast says these terms, pizza, hot dogs, pasta, pop up way too often to be random, suggesting trafficking code words. Joe Rogan agrees, saying elites use coded talk to hide crimes, pointing to Epstein's long impunity. Now, the satanic stuff. This is Pizzagate's wild card. Theorists claim Comet Ping Pong hosted occult rituals, citing Elephantis's alleged Instagram posts with creepy art. Now, there was like a mural of a decapitated doll, a kid, how do I want to put this? Taped to a table, and hashtags like hashtag chicken lovers, which if we look at the code words, I wonder what that means. John and Tony Podesta's alleged art collection. That's even weirder. So Tony's allegedly has paintings of bound and occult symbols. There's this documentary called Out of the Shadows, and you can watch it on, I think it's on YouTube, and it's definitely on Rumble, and it's definitely on X. It's by Liz Crokin and another guy, forgive me, I forget his name, but he used to work in Hollywood, and it's a really good documentary, so I highly recommend watching it. It might also help you understand some of the evidence that I'm pointing out too. So this documentary, it dives deep, saying the occult is woven into the elite culture, from Hollywood's pentagrams to DC's rituals. There's this woman named Marina Abramovic, and she does this thing called spirit cooking. She does this with the elites and celebrities. There's like pictures with like Lady Gaga, what's her name? Gwen Stefani. Like there's tons of different celebrities and pictures with her. And so the spirit cooking is what she calls art, but it usually involves like the audience doing something with her. There's like basically making your finger bleed and eating the pain. There's also one where it's written in blood on the wall. about some ritual that includes blood, semen, and breast milk. They're just weird performances. And to me, it's not just art. I think it could be a way of the elites bonding and normalizing exploitation. The claim is that satanic vibes mask trafficking. So, kind of like a cover up, like using art as like something that is like okay to like look at and view, but it's like very occultist. It's just interesting. And there's this idea that the CIA, uses the media to bury all of this information through Project Mockingbird, allegedly. And you got to ask yourself, is it literal devil worship? Like, that's something that I might come to the conclusion of. But maybe you don't, maybe not. Maybe this is just art. And these emails also just scream to me something's off, but maybe they're just out of context. Who knows? That's why I want to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. Like, what do you guys think of this stuff that you're seeing online? Like, is it odd or is it just taken out of context? Let me know what you think. Okay, so then there's also this email from Hillary Clinton, allegedly an email from Hillary Clinton saying she was going to sacrifice a chicken to Moloch in her backyard. Like, that sounds satanic to me. And like, Moloch was a pagan god in the Babylonian times that, if I'm not mistaken, was used to sacrifice children. Sounds satanic to me. And let's not leave out Rachel Chandler. So during this whole Pizzagate scandal and James Alefantis alleged Instagram photos that were public that are now private, Rachel Chandler also had a public Tumblr. Millennials probably know what that is, but Gen Z, you might have to look up what a Tumblr is. But she had a Tumblr and things on her Instagram that just also looked similar. So people also allegedly call her the child handler, and that's what Chandler stands for, like another kind of name change. Apparently she's a model recruiter that allegedly has ties to Epstein, P. Diddy, and Bill Clinton. She has now made her Instagram private and deleted her Tumblr since Pizzagate went viral, but she allegedly had posted images of children with knives and pentagrams and other weird stuff. If I can, I'm going to post a slideshow of all of her old posts that were archived, but if not, it might not be YouTube approved, so I might have to leave that out. But you tell me if there isn't a satanic vibe going on. So Alefantis' alleged posts also now private, and the Podesta's alleged creepy art aren't proof, right? That doesn't mean that they're doing bad things. They just might have weird interests, but they definitely fuel suspicion. Why collect painting of tortured kids? Why post a taped up child? Symbolism and code words are everywhere, in my opinion. Once you learn them, you start to see it everywhere. And Out of the Shadows, that documentary I keep mentioning, says it's a signal among elites. and Pizzagate fans agree, calling it a deliberate taunt. Now, again, I keep saying this because I keep wanting you to think, use your critical thinking skills. Does this feel normal to you? We have to ask the question. It's just a question. I'm not saying anything is true. We're just asking a question. Does this feel normal? Now we're going to hit some real evidence, like things that have been proven in court. So, real trafficking cases that involve elites. So, these are court records, not theories at this point, what we're talking about. So, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell ran a trafficking empire, exploiting minors for decades with alleged ties to Clinton, Prince Andrew, and global power players and like modeling agencies and a bunch of different people. And, just kind of point out, we still don't have the list. Trump, where is the list? Give us the list. What are you hiding? What do people have on you? Is it someone that like you are protecting? I really like you. I voted for you all 3 times, but this is all just very strange how you campaigned on this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing and providing the list, and we're going to tell you the list right away, and now it's all these theatrical things like giving these like influencer binders with like information everyone already had, and then like saying like, oh, there is no list and there is no information, and now saying we're gonna talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. It's like, just give us the damn information and redact what you need to redact, but like for the victims, but give us the information. We know something happened. Like, just give it to us. All right. That was a side note. But Maxwell's 2021 conviction for trafficking proved she was involved in the child trafficking. They operated openly, just like Pizzagate's elite ring vibes, right? All right, now we gotta talk about our boy, or not our boy, I don't like him, after what he got caught for, but R. Kelly, supposed R&B royalty. He was convicted in 2021 for violating the Mann Act, trafficking young women and girls for sex. He lured victims with music career promises, and he was abusing them for years. He would hold them hostage in his house. He would do depraved sexual acts on them. It was grotesque. If you've ever seen the documentary on Netflix on that, you gotta be strong to watch it. It's rough. But he got a 20-year sentence, and it fits Pizzagate's script. A star hiding a trafficking operation. There's always this legit business, like, the music business or the acting business or, whatever, that's like hiding like something nefarious, right? So it kind of meets this a star hiding trafficking operation thing. Then there's Sean P. Diddy Combs. He's next. He was indicted in 2024 for trafficking and racketeering. Although he was accused, I believe he was found innocent on the more severe charges like racketeering and trafficking. But it was suggested that he had a criminal enterprise since 2008, using drugs and violence and even sex rituals claimed by Cassie Ventura and his Smex slaves. So, yeah, the case found him innocent of some of these charges, but it seemed like the case was just performative, in my opinion. Kanye got it right when he called him a fed.
Travis gave me the address, but as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these, all you fake you. Wait, no, hold on. Okay. All you fake you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a you can't shoot nobody anyway, and the reason why you got to talk is because you did a deal, fed. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to come at me, because part of the deal for you to be a do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're going to go pull my co-car. So y'all shut the about me.
I think that maybe he, kept some intel and some videos of really important people that, were like, no, we need that back. And by, putting on this show and display and putting him in jail, they were able to get those videos back. That's my opinion. There's no proof of that, but that's just what I believe. But, it screams elite abuse. We definitely saw him beating up Cassie and her saying that she was a SMEC slave, so depraved. All right, now we gotta talk about Peter Nygard. So there's like this really good documentary about him on HBO. I'm blanking on the name, but if you look up his name, an HBO documentary, it'll come up. And he's a fashion mogul, and he was convicted in 2023 for sexual assault, and he was tied to a trafficking ring. This was from the 1990s to 2020. He lured women with modeling gigs, drugging them at what he called pamper parties. His company tracked 7,500 victims. Then there's Mike Jeffries, Abercrombie's ex-CEO. He was charged in 2024 with sex trafficking young men and faking modeling contracts. Then there's Jean-Luc Brunel, who was the Epstein modeling agent. He faced 2020 trafficking charges before he suicided himself in 2022. And these fashion cases just show industries masking exploitation. So again, modeling, acting, music, all these different industries, can have a hidden nefarious side to them, like the casting couches, all that kind of stuff, all the exploitation. Then there is Nexium. So this is Keith Raniere's cult. It's very chilling. He was convicted in 2019 for sex trafficking and forced labor. He coerced women into SMECs under self-help programs. Allison Mack, she was a Smallville actress, and she got 3 years for her connection to this. Crazy. So Nexium's had elite clients and a secrecy that echoed Pizzagate's hidden network. So, he used like a cult model to lure his clients in under the guise of self-help, and then he would do like branding and like stealing things from these people and videotaping them so they wouldn't leave, and just terrible blackmail operation, basically. Then Jimmy Savile, so he's a UK media icon. He abused hundreds of kids, and he was protected by the BBC and the government, I think the British government, until his 2011 death. So no conviction, but his case shows elite impunity, right? Like hiding these really elite people's crimes from the public. Politicians are pretty freaking dirty too. So Anthony Weiner was an ex-congressman. He was Huma Abedin's husband, who was some type of advisor, someone close to Hillary Clinton. And he pleaded guilty in 2017 for 16 to 15-year-old. And there were no trafficking charge, but grooming a minor is close. And if you ask me, in my opinion, he could have easily been a customer. And this Huma Abedin is now married to like George Soros's son, and they just look like a creepy couple to me. So, yuck. So his FBI seized laptop sparked Pizzagate rumors, though nothing was proven. And, just this was part of the Russiagate scandal, like trying to hide this stuff, crimes against children from like the Clinton campaign. And, to put the spotlight on Trump and how he colluded with Russia to win the election, even though it was all a hoax. So that's coming out now. And there's Joel Greenberg. He was a Florida politician. He was convicted in 2021 for sex trafficking a minor, potentially hinting at wider networks. Then there's Joshua Schultz. He was a CIA officer. He was convicted in 2024 for possessing 3,400 child abuse images, some trafficking related. So, people that can be like easily blackmailed to hide things because they have something in their closet that they're trying to hide, right? So it can be easily connected. Linwood Barnhill, he was a DC police officer. He was arrested in 2025 this year for sex trafficking minors. This is right in Pizzagate's backyard. So notice how we have politicians, CIA agents, police officers, just because they're in those careers doesn't mean they're not corrupt or, bad people, like in sheep's clothing, wolves in sheep's clothing, basically. I mean, the military's even got problems. So Fort Cavazos soldiers like Emilio Mendoza Lopez, Angel Palma, and Enrique Huagragi, I can't pronounce his name, so excuse me. They were busted in 2024 for smuggling migrants, trafficking form. An Army reservist in Minneapolis was arrested in 2025 this year for child abuse material tied to trafficking. These DOJ cases just show trusted figures betraying trust. Military officers, CIA, police officers, it could be a large crime syndicate, but it doesn't have to have everybody involved. It can have a select few that's covering for a select few. You see what I mean? So these cases like Epstein, R. Kelly, Diddy, Nygaard, Jeffries, Brunel, Nexium, Weiner, Greenberg, Schultz, Barnhill, soldiers, they aren't random. Like there could be a connection here. Are they ask yourself, are they isolated events or could they somehow be connected to a larger organization? The DOJ's 1,912 trafficking prosecutions in 2022 barely touched elites, right? And we've now seen a theme where elites can be, hidden from the public of what they do wrong. And, why? Ask yourself why. Well, power, cover-ups, or something darker, right? They don't need to spell it out for you to be like, that's weird. Let's think for ourselves a little bit. But, school and the media have trained you to not think for yourself, but to listen to them, the authority. Here's where it gets sinister. Whistleblowers who might spill the beans keep getting suicided. So Jeffrey Epstein, arrested in 2019, hanged himself in jail before trial, cameras off, guards asleep. Really? It's crazy because Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, before they were ever in the administration, they said for sure he didn't kill himself and we would tell you guys if that happened. And now they're like, no, he really killed himself. Look at this video evidence that has been doctored. But I swear it hasn't been. We didn't touch it.
Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Who killed Jeffrey Epstein? This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide. And so the way, based on public information at the time, that he ended up put the pictures of him hanging himself, I was like, man, that guy killed himself.
What did you think before you got into office? Did you think that Epstein was murdered?
No.
No suspicion at all of it?
This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide. But I have a different background, right?
Right.
So I was a public defender back in the day. When you're in that kind of confinement, we call it solitary confinement, you're not supposed to have these things that you are able to hang yourself with. That's the whole point of the strict rules in there. You're not supposed to have 6 feet of cloth that you can dangle from the ceiling so you can hang yourself. This is prison 101. I used to spend a lot of time in jails and a lot of time in segregated housing units, SHUs as we call them, right? So I've spent a lot of time in federal detention facilities as a public defender before.
talking to my clients, so I kind of know how those work. And I know how you get in, how you get out, who works the system. He was in isolation. He was in a unit where he's in there not just to protect himself, but he's in there to protect the rest of the prison population because he was such a high profile case. And so, and I've known people that have committed suicide in these cells. In these units, there's supposed to be 24/7 guard duty on him directly. There's just no way that you could have run an op. The guard fell asleep. Now, I don't really buy that, but it's almost impossible to prove otherwise unless you can obtain the videotape. Well, it's hard to surmise that from a video. And usually there isn't video looking into people's cells for a lot of reasons, and had people go into that cell and not have any video of it, and not have any people come out and say, hey, yeah, I saw that guy, he shouldn't have been there, the guard, or this guy.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but what I was told, what I'd read, was that the guards were not paying attention or were sleeping.
The guard fell asleep. Now, I don't really buy that. Well, it's hard to surmise that from a video, right? Like,
right.
Where they and look, do guards doze off on the night shift? Yeah.
What did you think before you got in office? Did you think that Epstein was murdered?
No.
The lies, the cover up, it's so obvious. Like, stop it, please. Then there's Jean-Luc Brunel. He was Epstein's trafficking buddy. He suicided himself in a Paris cell in 2022. Then there's Isaac Kappy, an actor who called out Hollywood PDF files. And, he died in 2019 after a suicide jump off of a bridge. But, he had just made a post about how he was not suicidal. So it's odd that he made these big claims against important people in Hollywood, claimed he wasn't suicidal, and then jumped off of a bridge.
They can try to kill me. Do you know anyone who was murdered because of this? Not personally, but people are murdered for it.
I'm not suicidal. Am I afraid of something? I should be, because bad things are coming my way. I could assure you of that.
The first time it really hit me was at Seth's. Seth said, we now need to have a talk about chicken. And then he basically admitted it. Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. There's this girl, Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, on Twitter, who has been accusing Tom Hanks of raping her when she was 13. Her dad sold her to Tom Hanks. She's been accusing him for months and months and months and months and months. He's never addressed it.
Tom Hanks had posted this Instagram picture a couple weeks back. It states, historic Route 66 roadkill? I hope not. This was a clear play on words to predict exactly how Isaac was going to be killed. It's no coincidence that he was suicided by jumping off of a bridge, as they say, and landing on a highway and being killed by a car.
The higher you go, the more sick it gets. You heard it's cannibals. Yeah, there is cannibalism. Look into Marina Abramovich. If you're just getting started with this stuff, look into Marina Abramovich.
The person who he is referring to is extremely high up in the industry and associated with many famous celebrities. It's clear as day that what she is doing is satanic, but she calls it performance art. She hosts these parties where they do mock human sacrifices. She is also involved with what is known as spirit cooking. It's an occult ancient ritual where she mixes together these ingredients such as sperm and breast milk. After she is done with that, she throws it on what looks like a mock child.
If you don't know who John Podesta is, do some research. Oh, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
John Podesta was the face of Pizzagate, as well as exposed in the WikiLeaks. He has ties to the Clintons and Obama, and this is the artwork that is openly showed in his home. If this doesn't scream pedophilia, I don't know what does.
Steven Spielberg is... See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million. I just said it.
In a new YouTube video, the former child star vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles who he claims have abused thousands of children.
I can name 6 names. One of them who is still very powerful today.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
Dan Schneider, oh my God. Yes, Dan Schneider is, of course, is Oprah a pedophile? Well, let's see. Hanks, Weinstein, I mean, the company she keeps, as rich as she is, I have a feeling she is very high up in the cult. And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide. And it's bad, guys. It's, what about Dave Chappelle? I think he knows quite a bit. Why did he run away to Africa? Why was he so freaked out?
28th of last year, Dave abruptly walked away, not only from the set of the show, but from $50 million, which left his fans shocked and most everyone completely puzzled.
You know, when you're a guy that generates money, people have a vested interest in control. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication.
Why did they throw Kanye in an insane asylum right after he called out Facebook and Google and saying that they lied to you? Why did they throw him in an insane asylum and drug him for days? Why?
And I'm about the sunken place I can think, and I could just be yay and just express how I feel. It was the scariest moment of my life.
What you thought they were going to drug you or kill you?
I thought I was going to get killed. I'm in the hospital. How many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. I was drugged the fuck out, bro.
Jimmy Savile and murdered hundreds of kids over the course of 3 decades or longer. No one ever looked into it. And he hung out with the royal family. He was knighted. And that's why when people say the news is fake, it's because it's run by these people who are into some very, 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 very sick stuff. We have been brainwashed for our whole lives. You can break someone's subconscious mind. If you're not aware of any of this stuff, look into MK Ultra.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
What's the worst that happens? You die. We all die. Might as well die doing something good. Everyone's afraid. They're afraid to come out. It's scary, guys. People get killed over this shit. It happens all the time. Aren't you concerned for my life? Yeah. But more importantly, I'm concerned for everybody, because this shit has been going on forever. I'm tired of it. Start researching. I want everyone to wake up. I want you all to wake up. And I love you, all right? Bye.
Avicii, the DJ, he died in 2018, and that was also ruled suicide. But many people online claim that his video, For a Better Day, exposed trafficking, and that could have made him a target. Then there's Anne Hetch, or Hatch, however you pronounce her name. She was an actress and the ex-girlfriend of Ellen DeGeneres. She died in a 2022 car crash, and some called it suspicious after she spoke of Hollywood's dark side. I believe her car brakes didn't work and she crashed into a house or something, and there was a video of her trying to climb out of a body bag still alive that was zipped up, and she was being pushed back into it before being brought into the EMT car. Is that not seriously so weird that you're shoving a person that's trying to get out of this zipped bag to show you she's alive, and you're shoving her back down into it? Who are those people? Were those really EMTs? I don't know. It's just really weird. Again, going back to that documentary, Out of the Shadows says those who threaten elite secrets don't last long. Suicides are convenient cover-ups. Is it a coincidence or is it silencing? Dead people can't talk, so it's kind of convenient. Then there's the honeypot blackmail. So Epstein's operation wasn't just trafficking, it was a blackmail machine. It was hidden cameras, powerful guests, compromising videos. Some say Pizzagate's elites use similar traps. They lure politicians, celebs, or spies into illicit acts, record it, and they own them. And then they, tell them what to do, tell them what to vote for, threaten them that this is going to come out if you ever, do the opposite of what we tell you to do. And it's pretty genius if you want to control people, powerful people. Out of the Shadows also claims that blackmail is the elite's currency and it ensures silence and control. Anthony Weiner's laptops, Diddy parties, NXIVM's collateral all hint at compromising dirt, blackmail. Could Comet Ping Pong or DC fundraisers allegedly be honeypots? It's a possibility. I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying they are. So we need to ask ourselves, what if it's bigger, an intelligence operation? Out of the Shadows alleges that the CIA, via programs like MKUltra, manipulates elites to control the population. So Pizzagate could be a glimpse. Trafficking rings as honeypots to blackmail politicians, military soldiers, or media into compliance. And this could help shape laws or narratives that they are pushing in society. Could DC's elite be puppets in a trafficking-fueled control scheme for the CIA? I mean, a control scheme would be great for a very strong organization like the CIA that, works in other countries and in the US. So, the question is, are all these cases isolated, or is it a massive web? Pizzagate claims a coordinated ring, and a lot of these pieces of the story fit too well. Epstein allegedly had Maxwell and elite enablers. Nygaard had a victim database. NXIVM had a cult structure. Blackmail, suicides, intelligence ties. Could they be connected? So ask yourself the question, is Pizzagate real? The emails, satanic art, Elefantis' alleged post, whistleblower suicides, no smoking gun. It's not. But the media's debunked line feels like a cover-up, in my opinion. And right out of the CIA's Project Mockingbird handbook. I mean, trafficking is a $150 billion industry, and elites could potentially, allegedly, be deep in it. We deserve to know. We need to root out the corruption. There are clearly plenty of customers for the people that are procuring these children if it's a billion-dollar industry. And there are a lot of celebrities that allegedly seem to be connected to these child abuse and human trafficking crimes. So all these people that I'm going to mention, this is all alleged, things that I saw online, but, some of this was archived, and, I just want you to think about it. So think about Oprah's connection to young girls in her schools in Africa. Many of them allegedly claim to have been sexually assaulted there or kidnapped from their families. And let's not forget the exposure she provided to John of God, an alleged prophet who was caught trafficking women in caves in Brazil and impregnating them to abuse and sell their undocumented children, which, in my opinion, is what Jeffrey Epstein was allegedly doing at his Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Then there's Tom Hanks, who is suspected of allegedly trafficking a woman by the name of Sarah Ruth Ashcroft. This is her story. not mine. I'm not saying it's real. This is what she claims, that her father sold her to him at age 13 for sex and claims to be a part of the CIA mind control program MKUltra. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. This is not my, I'm not saying this is fact or true. I just want to have a disclaimer there, okay? Similarly to Sarah's story about being sold into sex trafficking by their parents to elites and used as mind control victims are Kathy O'Brien, Annanika Lucas, and Allie Carter. Now, if you would like to know more on those people that I just mentioned, watch my other videos on mind control victims. In my opinion, it's very good and very enlightening. Then there's Chrissy Teigen, who allegedly has made obscene tweets about children. Now deleted from the internet, but people have archived them. And, what's on the internet never dies. Rainn Wilson, who played Dwight on The Office, allegedly made disturbing tweets discussing ritual sacrifices and harming children. How many people have to come forward with these allegations before they're taken seriously and actually investigated? A lot of these victims mention not being able to trust police because the police are allegedly bought and paid for or involved in the ring. Like I've already reviewed, it doesn't seem like all law enforcement officers and CIA operatives are above this kind of thing and can have skeletons in their own closet. Most are probably not involved in this. I want to be clear. I think most police and CIA people are probably really good, kind-hearted people that are doing this for the right reasons. And then I think there are a few bad people that are, in any kind of industry, and they're able to conceal it through these networks. Blackmail, honeypots, and intelligent operations could keep these child trafficking rings running, and silencing truth tellers like Happy or Avicii make others not want to come forward for their safety. Don't let CNN or other legacy media tell you what to think. Use your own critical thinking. Out of the Shadows says the CIA shapes narratives to hide these things with known mind control operations, such as Project Mockingbird, which, ironically, Tulsi Gabbard just admitted is still ongoing, and she's trying to shut it down, but it's hard because there's people that are in the deep state that, think they're above the law. So, for example, this is how it works. If everyone in authority, like a news anchor, are repeating the same narratives that this is faked and debunked, then people are apt to believe the parroted view. If you want to understand more on how obedience programs and PSYOPs work, then check out my other video on that topic to learn how the CIA uses psychological programs, which are called obedience programs, against their own citizens. And Ian Carroll and Joe Rogan demand we question why Pizzagate's mocked when there are cases that mirror it. We should all push for answers on these pizza codes. You decide what's real. Let me know what you think. Here's the plan. Watch Out of the Shadows on YouTube, Rumble, or X. It's truly a wake-up call. Hit up Ian Carroll's The Carroll Podcast or Rogan's episode on Spotify about Pizzagate. Read DOJ trafficking reports or the National Human Trafficking Hotline stats. Dig into the court filings like Epstein, Diddy, NXIVM, and also share this video. Silence fuels these networks. Leave a comment if you think Pizzagate is legit, or has this conspiracy theory gone too far? And I want your honesty. What do you really think? I'm not going to be offended if you don't agree that there's like some weird coincidences here. So you be the judge now that you have all the information. All right, thanks for sticking around with me, Psych Squad. This is a little bit of a longer video, but there was a lot to go over. And if this was eye-opening for you, smash that like button on your way out, subscribe, and hit the bell to not miss any of my new content. I'm working on tearing down the lies, so stay in the fight with me, keep thinking, stay real, and as always, stay psyched out. Bye!